Picture this: a massive warship slicing through gray waves. Engines humming like a giant metal heartbeat. The deck stretching out like a runway for chaos you hope never arrives. You're standing there, wind slapping your face, and for a second you think, yeah, I'm basically untouchable. That's the default illusion of anyone who first considers surviving a zombie apocalypse aboard a warship. Steel, guns, ocean, isolation, what could possibly go wrong? Spoiler: everything, but not in the ways you think. Start with the obvious strengths. A warship is a fortress. Reinforced hulls designed to deflect missiles can shrug off undead fingers, scratching at steel. Bulkheads give you compartmentalization, your best friend, when your biggest fear isn't zombies outside the ship, but zombies inside. Narrow corridors give defenders the advantage, choke points that can be sealed faster than you can say containment protocol. From a structural standpoint, this vessel is survival-friendly. It's built for battle, not for comfort, but at least it won't collapse like a suburban house with bad roofing. Then there's the firepower. You basically have a floating armory capable of erasing swarms faster than you can form the words "target acquired." Cannons, machine guns, missile racks, everything zombies cannot logically counter. There is no universe where a horde survives a naval broadside. If one day you feel frustrated enough, you could even use a missile on a group of 5 zombies just to feel something wasteful. Yes, therapeutic. Also yes, but now the weaknesses begin creeping in, because every fortress has a weak flank, and this one has several. The first is fuel. Fuel is life. Without it, your floating fortress becomes a floating monument. The ship stops, and then everything stops with it. Desalination systems, radar, refrigeration, lighting, ventilation. You go from dominant at sea to stranded metal tube. And the ocean doesn't care about your tactical dreams. The moment propulsion dies, you're just drifting, hoping a storm doesn't decide to rearrange your survival priorities. Food is the second vulnerability. Sure, the ship might start with months of rations, but those dry, joyless packets shrink quickly when survival stress kicks hunger into overdrive. After the rations vanish, your life becomes a fishing simulator, except with no updates, no rewards, and no promise the fish aren't toxic after the apocalypse turned the ocean into a chemical soup. If your idea of long-term nutrition is whatever bites the hook, welcome to maritime survival. Then we hit crew numbers. A warship is meant for dozens, sometimes hundreds of personnel. It's a system that thrives under the control of a trained full-capacity crew. You, on the other hand, are not a full crew. Even with a small group of survivors, you're operating a machine far above your pay grade. Engines need maintenance. Electrical systems need monitoring. Water systems need troubleshooting. Navigation requires skill. Without experts, eventually something fails, and something always fails. A clogged fuel line, a fried circuit board, a leak in a pipe that you ignore for too long. The warship isn't the problem, the rate of decay is. The environment inside the ship also turns into a psychological hazard. Everything echoes in a warship. Footsteps sound like intruders. A loose tool rolling down the floor at 2 a.m. sounds like a zombie in the ventilation system. Not great for sanity. And once in a while, someone in the group will say, "Did you hear that?" And everyone will freeze. 99% of the time, it's nothing. 1%, it's everything. Tight spaces amplify fear, and fear amplifies mistakes. Now consider the infection risk. If a zombie gets on board, just one nits, basically a contamination event inside a steel labyrinth. You can seal off compartments, yes. But if the infection starts in the wrong place, like the engine room or water treatment area, that's a death sentence delivered by poor luck. One bite turns into 3, 3 into a dozen, and suddenly you're strongest. Asset-compartmentalize ZATIO unturns into a scatter maze of trapped undead waiting behind every second door. Strategically, A warship's greatest sin is its dependence. It's strong, but not self-sufficient. You rely on the ocean for space, but on land for everything else: fuel, tools, spare parts, medical gear. That means eventually you must dock. And docking is basically announcing to every zombie, raider, or survivor group, "Hey, giant metal treasure chest coming in." It's a magnet for conflict. Still, the warship's logic of survival is irresistible for the short term. High defense, controlled environment, low external threat, strong tactical superiority. It gives you time to think, regroup, reposition. But time isn't the same as sustainability. Think of the warship as an emergency bunker with a lifespan. A long lifespan, yes, but a lifespan nonetheless. Cut to nighttime. The ship moves through rough waters, the deck slick, the hull groaning with every wave. Lights flicker. The ocean is loud enough to feel alive. This is when survival becomes mathematics, not heroics. Every decision is a resource equation. Every mistake a multiplier of danger. Start with water, the one advantage the ship truly excels at. Desalination keeps you alive until it doesn't. It's a high-energy system. If the generator falters or filters clog, your water supply collapses instantly. You go from infinite ocean to zero drinking water in under an hour. That's survival irony at its finest. Next, weather. On land, storms are bad. At sea, storms are violent tutors, reminding you that nature outranks zombies on the danger list. High waves can sweep gear off deck, slam open compartments, or injure someone so badly that infection becomes the least of your problems. You learn quickly that zombies are predictable. Weather isn't, and weather always wins. Internal risks escalate as the ship operates with minimal crew. Medical emergencies grow dangerous. A single cut becomes septic. A twisted knee becomes a mobility risk. A broken arm becomes a group resource drain. You begin to fear injuries more than zombies. That's when you know your environment is devouring you slowly. From a tactical standpoint, using the warship correctly means treating it like a mobile headquarters. You don't stay in one place too long. You don't burn fuel recklessly. You scout coasts with smaller craft. You salvage supplies tactically. In and out operations, minimal noise, minimal time ashore. Every landing is a risk assessment. Every departure is a countdown until your next supply run. The humor here is dark but accurate. You're basically running a zombie-era logistics company with one ship, zero staff and customers, you who complain constantly. Efficiency matters, or you sink literally. Weaponry, once your biggest flex, slowly becomes dead weight. Ammunition dwindles, and naval guns cannot be reloaded with goodwill and elbow grease. Eventually, the ship's arsenal goes from apocalyptic dominance to large metal. Decorations. No amount of tactical swagger can change that. Navigation becomes philosophical. With satellite networks failing and maps becoming outdated, you operate partially blind. Land masses change, coastlines flood, markers vanish. The ocean becomes a shifting puzzle. You're not steering a ship, you're rolling dice against geography. And yet, in the middle of all this chaos, there's a strange benefit. Zombies can't ambush you at sea. The ocean is empty, predictable, and emotionless. In a world of relentless threats, that actually counts as peace. Not comfort, just peace. The bigger question emerges: is long-term survival on a warship even possible? The realistic answer: possible, but not probable. The warship excels as an escape vector, a temporary stronghold, a mobile command post. It gives you unparalleled safety early on. But the longer you stay, the more the weaknesses outweigh the strengths. Systems fail, supplies shrink, crew shrinks. The ocean drains your resilience. Eventually, you must choose between abandoning the ship or waiting for entropy to make the choice for you. When the final analysis settles, the verdict isn't dramatic or poetic. It's practical. A warship is neither good nor bad, transitional. It buys you time, it buys you distance, it buys you safety. But it does not buy you a future. If the zombies don't get you, the maintenance schedule will.